to another episode of Making Mondays. Today I am going to show you the part 2 of making the snowman. Make sure you go to part 1 if you haven't already seen it. There I will show you how to make the snowman's hat. So let's begin. For the head and face you will need just over 1 meter of string. Row 1. Start off by threading through 6 beads. Create the lasso on the final bead and then thread through the left string and secure. That's row number 1 completed. Row number 2. The bead that is attached to the string is counted as 1. You are going to thread through 4 more beads. This will create a cluster of 5. On the final bead, create the lasso. Left hand string, pass it through the lasso and secure. This is the center ring. You are going to create clusters of 5 all the way around this ring. So the left hand side string that's coming out of this bead is going to go into the bead on the left hand side that is on the last row. Now you have 2 beads between the 2 strings, so you have to add 3 more beads to the right hand side string. On the last bead you're going to create the lasso, the left hand side string, pass it through this lasso and then secure. This sequence will be repeated until you get to the end of the row. Before you do the final cluster, have a check on the design. You should have a center ring with 5 clusters around it. So we are going to create the final cluster now. You should see a wide open V shape like this. The bead with the 2 strings sticking out, thread it through 2 beads on the left. You should have 3 beads between the 2 strings. On the right hand side string, thread in 2 beads. This will make the final cluster of 5. On the final bead, make the lasso, left hand side string, pass it through the lasso and secure. Row number 3. Notice the 3 beads that are clumped together. Left hand side string, pass it through the bead on the left. Right hand side string, you are going to thread through 3 beads. Remember, we are making clusters of 5s. On the final bead, create the lasso. Left hand side string, pass this through the lasso and secure. This time, on the left hand side string, you're going to pass through 2 beads on the left. You now have 3 beads between the 2 strings. On the right hand side string, you are going to add 2 more beads. After a while, you will notice your right hand side string will get shorter faster than your left hand side string. Here I will show you how to switch sides. On the final bead, instead of creating the lasso, you are going to pass the left hand side string through this last bead so that the string crosses over. For this cluster, you will notice the beads will become very loose. Just make sure you have enough string to create another cluster after this one. That way the cluster will become tight again. Left string through 2 beads on the left. You now have 3 beads between the 2 strings. Right string, thread through 2 beads. On the final bead on the right string, create the lasso. Pass the left string through this lasso and secure. Repeat this sequence until you get to the end of the row. Left string, pass through the 2 left beads. You now have 3 beads between the 2 strings. On the right hand side string, you're going to thread in 2 beads. On the final bead, you're going to create the lasso, left hand side string through this lasso and secure. Notice my left string is getting too short. I won't be able to complete the last cluster without extending it. So here I'm going to show you how I'm going to extend that. Left string, pass through the 2 left beads. You now have 3 beads between the 2 strings. On the right hand side string, you're going to thread in 2 beads. Secure this cluster by tying 2 knots. Pass one of the strings back through the bead and pull so that the knot is hidden inside the bead. Now cut another piece of string so it's long enough to complete your project. Get the new string and pass it through this bead where the knot is. Pull the string so that it almost sits in the centre. It is okay to have the right hand side string slightly longer. Make sure you pull the old strings out of the way ready to be cut, just in case you accidentally cut it into your new strings. Get your scissors and snip off the old strings. Okay, so now we complete the final cluster. Here I've turned it around so you can see where the final cluster goes. You should see a V shape in the pattern. Let's turn it around to complete the design. You will now thread the string through 3 beads. You should have 4 beads between the strings. We turn it around to complete the cluster. Right hand side string, thread through 1 bead and secure with 2 or 3 knots. Row number 3 is now complete. Row number 4. Row number 4 is automatically completed when you completed row number 3. You will notice it's a little squishy, so we're going to make this a little bit more rigid. Get the remaining bits of string and pass it through all the beads in row number 4 until you get to the end. Once you have done that, tie it with 2 or 3 knots. Then pass the end of the string back through one of the beads and pull it so that the knot is hidden inside the bead. Now you can trim off the excess. The top and the bottom of the snowman's head is made of a cluster of 6 beads. The area we want to concentrate on are these 3 areas, made from clusters of 5 beads. The top 2 clusters are for the eyes and the cluster at the bottom for the mouth. And in the centre of these 3 beads is where we're going to place the nose. Thread through the tiniest of the orange bead, then the medium, then the large. Adjust this to the centre of the string. On the right hand side string, the end that is coming out from the smallest bead, you are going to pick this up, you're going to skip the smallest bead and you're going to thread back through the middle bead and the biggest bead. You're going to thread each string into the eye socket of the snowman, making sure it comes down through the neck so that when you pull it, the strings click into place. We're now going to attach the eyeballs. So what I am doing now is crossing the strings over so that when I attach the eyeball, the nose doesn't fall off. So the string on the right hand side is now going to cross over into the left eyeball. You could remove the eyeball and then thread the string through the eye socket if it makes it easier for you. You're going to thread from the right to the left and then put the string down between the gap in the cluster of 3 beads. Pull it and you feel a click. This actually helps keep the eyeball in place. So the left string goes up into the eye socket and out, through the eyeball from left to right, and into the gap between the cluster of 3 beads. Pull it and you will feel a click. So now we're going to deal with the mouth. See this cluster of 5 beads? You're going to thread the 2 strings between the cluster of 3 beads on both sides. So the right hand side string is going to be threaded through the gap in between the cluster of 3 beads on the right hand side. The left hand side string is now going to thread through the gap in the middle of the cluster of 3 beads on the left hand side. Use tweezers if you need to. On the right hand side string, you're going to thread through 4 black beads. Now secure by tying the 2 strings together with 2 or 3 knots. Then you are going to pass the right hand side string back into one of the black beads, tug at it so that the knot ends up inside. Cut up an excess string. If you have come this far, you should find it very easy to complete this body of the snowman. The head is now completed. You will need roughly 1.5 meters of string to make the body, but don't worry if your string is too short, I will show you how to extend it. Thread through 6 white beads into the string, adjust it so that it's in the centre of the string. It is okay to have the right hand side string slightly longer than the left. On the right hand side, you're going to thread the string back through the last bead and create a lasso. On the left hand side string, you're going to pass this through the lasso and secure, making sure that the crossover is inside the bead. The process is exactly the same as the head. This is called cluster of 6. This will become the centre ring. Row number 2. We are now going to make clusters of 5. The bead between the 2 strings is counted as 1. You are going to add 4 beads to the right hand side string. On the right hand side string, pick up the end, pass it back through the last bead so that you create a lasso. Left hand side string goes through this lasso, pull and secure. That's the first cluster of 5 completed. Now you need to remember this sequence because we are going to repeat it until we get to the end of the row. We are going to create more around the centre ring. So the left string, you are going to pass it through the left bead that is on the centre ring. You now have 2 beads between the 2 strings. Right hand side string, you're going to add 3 more beads. This will create a cluster of 5. So the right hand side string goes back into the final bead on the right hand side. Make the lasso. Left hand side string goes through this lasso, pull and secure. Keep repeating this process until you get to the end of the row. You should have 5 clusters by now around a centre ring. You should see a V shape in the pattern. Pick up the left hand side string and pass it through the 2 beads on the left. You should now have 3 beads between the 2 strings. Right hand side string, you are going to thread through 2 beads. Create the lasso. Put the left string through this lasso and secure. That's row 2 completed. Row 3. We are going to make clusters of 6. So left string goes through the left bead. You now have 2 beads between the 2 strings. On the right hand side string, you're going to thread in 4 beads. Create the lasso, pass the left string through this lasso and secure. So now you're going to repeat this sequence. Left hand side string, you are going to thread through 2 beads on the left. You now have 3 beads between the strings. Right hand side string, you are going to thread through 3 beads. Create the lasso. Pass the left hand side string through this lasso and secure. Continue with the sequence until you get to the end. By the time you get to the end of the row, you should see a V shape in the pattern. The left hand side string is going to be threaded through 3 beads on the left. You now have 4 beads between the 2 strings. On the right hand side string, you are going to thread in 2 beads. Create the lasso, pass the left string through this lasso and secure. Row number 4. If you have completed the row perfectly, you should start near a cluster of 3 beads, as shown here. The left string is going to be threaded through 1 bead on the left. You now have 2 beads between the 2 strings. You're going to make a cluster of 5. So on the right hand side string, you are going to thread through 3 beads. Create the lasso, pass the left string through this lasso and secure. So now you are going to complete this sequence until you get to the end of the row. Left string is going to go through the 2 beads on the left. You now have 3 beads between the 2 strings. Right hand side string, you're going to thread in 3 beads. Create the lasso, put the left string through this lasso and secure. Repeat this until you get to the end of the row. By the time you get to the end of the row, you should see something like a V shape. You're going to pick up the left string and pass it through 3 beads on the left. You now have 4 beads between the 2 strings. On the right hand side string, you're going to thread in 1 bead. We are not going to bother making the lasso because this is the end of the row. We're just going to tie the 2 strings together with 2 to 3 knots. To make the ball a bit more rigid, we are going to thread through one of the strings all the way around the cluster of 6 beads until we get to the end. Tie it with 2 to 3 knots again. And then hide the knot in one of the beads by putting the end of the string through another bead and tug at it. Make sure you look for part 3. So there you have it. Thanks for watching and see you in my next video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to get up-to-date videos from me at Shan and I. See you next time.